You're listening to School Counseling Simplified, a podcast with easy-to-implement strategies for busy school counselors. Here's your host, Rachel Davis from Bright Futures Counseling.
Let's play a little game of Would You Rather, School Counselor Edition. Okay, would you rather spend your weekend planning a group or spend your afternoon sitting in irrelevant PD? Yikes. Or would you rather be the only counselor with no one to collaborate with, or to spend hours searching online for engaging activities? All of these options are pretty bad, right? But unfortunately, they're all too real. But what if I told you I had a solution for you? What if I told you I had access to hundreds of school counseling lessons, groups, and activities, counselor-specific trainings on the topics you need most, and a community of like-minded school counselors to support you? You would say, yes, please. Well, that is what Impact is all about. Impact is my monthly membership for school counselors, and it helps you with all of these things. You get access to hundreds of resources. That's unlimited free downloads. Log in and get what you need right away to every single resource that's in my store. We add new resources each and every month. We're adding a new middle school and elementary resource each month, and some of these are bonus Impact exclusives, meaning that you can get resources just for members. You can request resources that you need and easily search so you can find exactly what you're looking for. And let's talk about the trainings, counselor-specific trainings on the topics you need most. We do these each and every month as part of our Coffee with the Counselor series. Impact members get to join for absolutely free. You earn PD certificates and you get exclusive access to members-only things like the Ultimate Small Group Experience and our Summer Summit Conference. And the community. Y'all, this is possibly my favorite part of Impact. I so look forward to jumping on these calls, to getting to know counselors who are similar to me and also completely different. It's so fun to hear from your experiences and your challenges, and everyone brings a unique perspective to the table. We have an exclusive online community, and we even have a cool app where you can chat with other counselors in these community circles. We have our monthly calls, like I mentioned, twice a month, and we share wins, troubleshoot tough cases, and just talk about what it's like to be a counselor, because so often we're on our own island at our school sites. So if any of that sounds like it's for you, I would love to see you inside Impact. Go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/impact to solve all of your counselor problems. And I have a special offer for my listeners. Use code POD at checkout to save 10% off your first month. Okay, let's go to today's episode. Hey there, you're listening to another episode of School Counseling Simplified. So in last week's episode, I kind of had a quickie episode, but it was full of 4 strategies to use to support and build rapport with teachers. Now I want to continue this series about supporting and building rapport with our stakeholders and with our colleagues. In today's episode, I want to talk about how we can do this with our admin, and specifically how we can use data to work with our admin. Do you ever wish someone would tell you what you're supposed to be doing, when you're supposed to be doing it, and how you're supposed to be doing it? Well, I've got you covered with school counseling lesson plans for the entire school year. And the best part, they're absolutely free. Go to bit.ly/counseling lesson plans to download yours today. I hope you find these super helpful and you're going to have your best year yet. So, 4 ways we can do this. Number 1, you guessed it, needs assessment. Now, this was the first thing I suggested for doing with teachers, but it's also good to do this with your admin. So go to them, say, hey, based on last year, based on this year so far, what do you think some high areas of needs are? What groups do we want to see? What lessons do we want to do? What do you think the needs are on campus right now? They're probably just waiting to be asked. Or if you already have a needs assessment from teachers and you have the results, review the results alongside your admin. Set aside a little meeting time where you guys can get together and discuss these and be like, oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh, we didn't think about that. Okay, let's do that. Number 2, data-driven check-ins. Now, I love this. So when it comes to, figuring out what you're going to be doing this upcoming quarter or upcoming semester, look at the data. So check with your admin and say, hey, where are we seeing some achievement gaps? Where are we seeing attendance issues? Let's get a plan for that. Where are we seeing academic issues? Let's get a plan for that. Where are we seeing behavior issues? Let's get a plan for that. So, and you're probably thinking, okay, what's the plan? Well, you're going to look at the deficit, and that deficit data is going to drive your groups and drive your lessons. So, for example, if attendance is low with a certain grade level or something, you can do an attendance initiative or school-wide attendance initiative. If you're seeing some discipline problems with the same students who are getting referred for like fighting or something, or talking back to their teachers, or if they're getting sent out of class for the same reasons. With those students, you could do a self-control group or self-regulation group or social skills group. So you're not just doing groups randomly. And you know this, you're probably thinking, no, I'm not. I'm doing them based on referrals, which is totally right. But it's also important to do some data-driven groups. So to look at the data and think, we want to prevent these problems from happening. How can we prevent these students from getting in trouble and for getting sent to the office? Oh, we could try to do a proactive group with these kiddos, or we could do a class lesson on this topic if we're seeing a lot of students struggling with this. In terms of academics, see how you can support with an academic skills group, like a study skills group or lesson, or an executive functioning lesson would really help in this area as well. Or pairing students up with peer buddies. There's so many ideas you can brainstorm alongside your admin based on the deficits from the data. The third thing is discuss school-wide initiatives. So I mentioned attendance, but talk about if you're going to do a career fair, if you want to have a guest speaker come, or if you want to do parent workshops. Sometimes these things are intimidating to plan, but your admin likely has experience with these bigger school-wide initiatives. So talk with them. They have the contacts and they have access to the money, which you might need to do something like this. So talk with them about big plans. Maybe just plan one for the school year, one big thing you want to do, like a community fair or career fair, something like that. And lastly is the big picture planning. So sit down with them and talk about your goals for the counseling program. This is kind of a all-encompassing thing based on the last three things I talked about, but sit down with them and say, like, what do you want to see in our program this year? What are our goals? Or you can say, hey, these are my goals. And of course, you can always use this time to advocate for your role. This is a bonus. Number 5, I wasn't planning on talking about, but if you have face-to-face time with your admin in a meeting, make sure you're taking that time to advocate and just kind of review, your hours that you're spending with students, direct student services, and ones that are being spent on other tasks, and kind of see if you can rework some stuff, or at least just communicate how your time is being spent, because it might be eye-opening for your admin, and maybe they can make some changes easily that will allow you to impact more students. So we're always looking to share that data with them as well. Okay, I hope you found this episode super helpful, and I'll talk to you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to School Counseling Simplified. You can find the links from today's episode in the show notes. If you'd like to connect with Rachel, she's on Instagram and Teachers Pay Teachers at Bright Futures Counseling. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes of School Counseling Simplified. Talk to you next week.